What's the best way to strength train to balance your hormones if you're a female? Watch this.
Our first caller is Susanna from North Carolina.
Hi, Susanna. How can we help you?
Hi. Very weird to be talking to you, but I'll get right to my question, but I do have to start by saying thank you. You three have made such a crazy impact on my life. I can't even begin to say thanks, but I'm going to anyway. So thanks to you three, to Doug, and to everybody that works so hard behind the scenes. It's much appreciated.
Thank you.
Of course. So kind of in summary, my question is how to approach MAPS Anabolic, which I assume is the right program for me, given my main goal is kind of regulating my hormones, my cycle, and of course also focusing on improving strength and muscle composition. So just a really brief background. I'm 25 now, and I've been a competitive athlete for the majority of my life. So I was a swimmer and then a collegiate mid-distance, distance runner. And I was pretty classic, overtraining, obsessive exercise, under eating, and I ended up losing my period for about 7 years completely. Now, over the last year, I'm in a much better place. So I found you guys about a year ago, and I have since started focusing on strength training, which I've always loved. So it's really nice to be back there. And I've definitely still been overtraining, but I've been mainly focused on strength training, really cut down on the cardio, eating a lot more. And I've seen so many benefits, both physically and mentally, which has been awesome. And I have gotten my cycle back, but it's extremely irregular. Some days or some months, it just doesn't show up, and it's just kind of all over the place. So with that being said, kind of currently, after some pretty heavy hinting, my husband got me MAPS Anabolic for my birthday, which was awesome. I went through the pre-phase. I did do some weeks where I made it a 3-day-a-week workout just because I wanted to be in the gym a little bit more, but I liked it so much. I did it 5 weeks, but then I hit pause before going into phase 1 because I was a little bit unsure how to approach it. So that kind of brings me to my question, which is kind of 2 questions, but the first part is I'm not sure whether you all would recommend I do the 2 or 3 day a week foundational workout. The main reason I would want to do 3 is just because I like practicing the big lifts more than once a week. And then kind of with that, I've started enjoying somewhat shorter workouts, so like 40 minutes as opposed to 60, 70. So I don't know if you'd support me maybe splitting 1 or even 2 of the workouts up over the course of 2 days. So that's kind of the first half. And then the second half is just a quick add-on. There are some exercises, namely the hip thrust, that I really like because I am pretty quad dominant. And so I guess just, is there a way to add that in? Can I just add a couple sets? Can it replace the one exercise? Or should I really just run through exactly as it's laid out the first time around?
Great question. You're on the right track. I think let me ask you some more questions. You said you feel like things are starting to balance out a little bit. How's your sleep and how's your caloric intake? I know you noted in there that, and this is very common for athletes, especially female athletes, you've had some issues with food in the past. How are your calories now, and how's sleep and stress and all that stuff?
Yeah, for sure. So sleep has definitely gotten a lot better. I've always been a pretty bad sleeper, but I would say I get probably 7-ish hours a night, maybe 8 sometimes. And then with the caloric intake, that has also improved a lot. So back in college, when I was running 40, 50 miles a week and cross training, I was probably eating like 2,000 calories a day. And now I don't track much because it can be a little bit triggering for me. But on days that I do, I'm between 22 and sometimes up to 2,700. And I'm not really seeing any increase in fat. I feel just generally much better.
Awesome.
That's good. Good.
I would push the calories. I'd keep them around 2,500 or more based off of what you just said. 3 days a week is perfectly fine until you get to phase 3. Then I'd go down to 2 days a week because phase 3 is a lot of volume. There's a lot more reps, low rest. So then I'd go down to 2 days a week when you get to phase 3. As far as hip thrusts are concerned, you can go ahead and swap out the front squats in both phases, in all the phases, and throw in hip thrusts. And that'll be the program that you follow. And that's pretty much it. It's pretty straightforward. I think you'll be very pleased with how your body responds.
I don't have much to add to that. I think that's the exact same advice. Are you doing any running right now in conjunction with this, or are you just strength training?
Yeah, so I had stopped running for a while because I had a hip injury, but I've started kind of up again. I mean, like 10 miles a week just slow. I do that and a lot of walking, but that's pretty much the only cardio I do.
Okay,
And it sounds easy for you.
Yeah, 10 miles a week is.
that's okay, but I do want to highlight that if we have a goal of building our booty because we're quad dominant, that's not helping you. Just so you know.
Yeah, I know.
So just keep. I'm totally okay with it. I would prefer
You did mid distance.
hikes and like maybe uphill sprints.
I was
things
just
like
going to
that.
say, if you did mid distance, if you're okay with sprinting,
Yeah, I would love to see you sprint
Yeah.
uphill.
Yeah.
Sprinting
hill
uphill would be
work
way
would
better
be-
for you than going for flat, long runs. In particular with the developing the butt. Like it sounds like you have a pretty good balance as far as how much volume of training you're doing. I'm okay with that. But if you came to me and I heard the goal right, like this is like I want to make sure health is number one, make sure your periods are regular, eating enough food, and then I also want to do hip thrusts because I'm quad dominant. So that says to me that you want to build your butt. I would tell you that running that much is going to make it really difficult because you're going to continue to reinforce that quad dominant signal by running all the time.
I would also emphasize that with the hip hinging, like with your thrust, your hip bridging in your trigger sessions, and making sure too you take like a hip circle and we add that in as an emphasis that you're continually kind of repeating that signal, so we're getting that kind of stimulus that you're going to carry over into your foundational workouts.
yeah. So two things. So with the hill sprints, you want to treat them like strength training. So let's say normally you would go on a run and it would take you 20 or 30 minutes. Give yourself the same amount of time and you would do sets of sprints. So you would sprint up a hill as fast as you can.
Yeah.
You'd come down, wait till you caught your breath, wait till everything's ready to go where you can explode again.
So it's more anaerobic.
It's anaerobic. It's muscle building.
Yeah.
Not so much like the distance type running. And that'll actually probably build a little muscle
Sure.
on you as
Do you
well.
have access to a sled too, by the way?
I don't, and I keep trying to think of ways to like make a makeshift one because you guys talk about it so much. But I typically work on my garage. We don't really have much of like a yard.
Yeah.
So I don't know how I could mimic that. I wish I did.
Yeah, I know. It's a bit expensive.
push your car.
but Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, until you want to make that kind of an investment. But it is a great one to, especially a drag, sled drag, building up volume there would really help kind of
So,
your posterior chain.
Do you know what your body fat percentage is at?
I don't. I know back in college, I did a DEXA scan and it was like 14%. Now I've put on close to 20 pounds since then. I don't want to try and guess because I'm probably off. I don't know.
Yeah,
I have no idea.
You look pretty lean just by looking at your face. So you got to push the calories, and you're probably going to have to keep pushing the calories for a little while consistently to see your period become a little more consistent. That's the first
Well, how long
place that I would go.
How long have you been in? I mean, I actually think her calories are great where she's at. I don't think
Just because her period's still spotty.
Well, I know, but that might have to do with just it has. How long has it been since you've been eating that many calories and not really pushing the running like crazy? Has it been a year or has it been way less?
No, I'd say it's been probably about a year. Now, I will say one thing that I'm changing is I was kind of intermittent fasting, not really purposefully, but I have kind of read more that that can kind of
we
a
don't.
woman's hormones.
Yes.
So I've stopped this week.
Oh, okay. So yeah, I mean, give it some time with that. I think that's for sure. Stop that.
That was always that was the first thing that we would always do with female clients for their period regularity. There's always stress management, gut health, but the first thing with someone like you would be calories. And really it's just you want to tell your body it's safe to get pregnant. Not that you're not necessarily trying to get pregnant, but that's the point. So I would go 2,500, a little more, push the calories, just be consistent with it. Tell your body that it's safe. And then you'll probably start to see more regularity, unless there's some gut issues that are underlining, which, that's kind of common, especially with athletes. We tend to have inflamed guts, and that tends to be a common issue as well. But I would do that, and you should notice within 30 to 45 days, maybe 60 days. So over the course of 2 months, kind of two nice consistent periods.
Yeah, I think right away by eliminating the fasting, she's going to see a response from that alone.
Just the fasting because fasting will do the same thing.
Yeah,
It'll tell your body.
She just now. You said you just stopped it last week, right?
Yeah, this week.
Oh yeah.
How long were you fasting for?
I mean, I wouldn't really do it on purpose. I just felt kind of like slower if I had breakfast when I first got to work. So I'd probably have a cup or two of coffee and then eat around 12, stop around 9 or so.
Do you get lethargic from eating in the morning?
I do kind of. It just makes me a little bit more tired.
Yeah. Eat a fat protein
Yeah, more
breakfast.
protein.
Don't eat any carbs. it does sound like you might have a little bit of gut stuff going on, because that's kind of a telltale sign, right? You'll eat, people with gut issues will eat something with carbohydrates or starches, and they'll get this crazy crash of energy. So you could just do literally like, 4 scrambled eggs, some bacon with your coffee, and that you should be okay. You should notice no like drop in energy from that.
Are you in our holistic health forum, the free one with Cabral's team?
No.
Okay,
I'm not.
you should join that. You should join that, and as you're going through this, maybe trying different foods for breakfast. It's a free forum. We got a bunch of doctors and medical professionals that are in there to support. And if Sal is right that there's potential underlying gut issues that you have going on, they'll help you troubleshoot that, and then that would be the place you go to get the testing done, and then for them to take you through that. So that could be very well a possibility, and they'll probably even be able to pick up on it faster than we would.
Yeah. Do you have a stressful job? Are you wearing scrubs? Do you have a stressful job? Looks like you're wearing scrubs.
Honestly, no, I'm a genetic counselor and I love my job. So I just got out of grad school. I'm less stressed than I've ever been in my life.
Oh,
So.
beautiful. Yeah, you're on the right track. You really are.
Yeah, I think you're in a good place.
3
right
days
now.
a week, phase 1, phase 2, 2 days a week, phase 3. Switch out front squats for hip thrusts. Keep the calories consistent.
Go get strong.
And and if you're getting stronger consistently, you're on the right path for sure.
Awesome.
All right.
Okay.
Thanks for calling
Okay.
in.
Yeah. Thanks so much. All the best to you and your families.
Thank you.
Thank
You
you.
too.
You as well.
Thank you. Yeah, good. That was pretty straightforward.
She's in a good place.
Yeah.
I think she's in a really good place, and I even think because 2,500 calories is a lot of calories, bro. I think
Well, she was at 22 to 27. So I'm like, stay consistent in the middle. You know what that usually means to me? I'm more often than not closer to 22 than I am.
I mean, that's fair. That's a fair, like with someone like that who does extreme stuff,
That's right.
she probably would overestimate on calories and underestimate on how much training she's doing. So, the only other thing that I would add her to consider if you really want to build the butt and you're doing this repetitive running on flat ground, that's part of the problem is that you are so quad dominant.
signal.
It's competing.
Distance running is a butt burner. In other words, you're going to lose your butt. Sprinting is a butt builder.
Disintegrator.
Very
yeah,
different,
call it.
right?
Yeah, yeah.